Hello, this is the introductory video of the ESP, why we install ESP in any well. So this is the picture of subsurface. Here this is the oil reservoir. This black one is the cap rod. This yellow is the tubing or oil well, and this is the surface. So initially, imagine you are a reservoir, oil reservoir. So initially you will have sufficient amount of pressure energy. You can give this pressure energy to the fluid, reservoir fluid, so it can lift themselves to the surface. Imagine this red line is the fluid level of well. So initially reservoir has sufficient energy to lift this fluid to the surface, but after some time what happen, you will lose your energy, means reservoir will lose its energy, so it can provide less energy to the fluid, and the fluid level will go up, and it will stop at certain point. After that point, fluid cannot lift themselves to the surface. So what we require here is we have to travel this fluid from this point to this point. So we have to cover this much of depth. So how this fluid will cover this much of depth? So for that we require an equipment, so that equipment can suck the oil from this fluid level. So we install one device. Suppose this ellipsoid is the device that can suck this oil from this fluid level, and it can provide sufficient energy to the fluid so that fluid can travel to the surface. So how we install this device and how this will work, that is basically ESP. So for this purpose we install the ESP. So our basic requirements we can understand from here is we require suction here so that it can suck the fluid, and this device should give energy to the fluid so that it can lift themselves to this surface. So we require two things from our downhole equipment. One is it should suck oil from the bottom, and another, it should provide sufficient energy to the fluid so the fluid can travel to the surface. So we know ESP is an centrifugal pump. In day-to-day life we can see various centrifugal pumps. One of the best example is our vacuum cleaner. This is the inside of an vacuum cleaner, how it look like. In every centrifugal pump there is basically two parts. One is this rotor, that is yellow part, and another is this motor. The work of rotor is to rotate. How it rotates? With help of this motor. Motor will provide energy to the rotor to rotate. Due to this rotations of the rotor, it will create the suction, and this suction will lead to inflow of the oil, will cause the inflow of the oil. So this rotor will rotate, it can suck things from here, things will have energy from this rotor, and it will lift to the surface. Same principle will apply to the ESP also. ESP rotor will rotate from the energy from the motor. It will create suction. That rotation will create suction. It will suck oil, give energy to the fluid. That energy will be sufficient to lift our fluid from bottom to the surface. This is the animation of the centrifugal pump. The oil or any fluid will suck from the here due to its suction, and the suction is created by this rotor. Rotor will impart the energy to the fluid and it will come out from here. This is an actual representation of the ESP installed well. This is the perforation, motor, pump intake. These are the subsurface parts of an ESP. So we will have, these are the surface part, this is the subsurface part. This is the main pump. So we have a rotor inside this, and to provide energy to this rotor we will have motor. Fluid will be sucked from here. Here this rotor or pump will create suction. This is the picture which shows the main part of our ESP, that is this stage or stages of the ESP. So what is the stage? So when we put our rotor inside the diffuser, that is called a one stage. What is the diffuser? We can talk it about later. But when we install our rotor inside diffuser, that is the one stage. So this is the one stage here, and we install the stages in series fashion, or we stack all the stages. That is our whole ESP pump. This rod is connected to the motor downward and to the rotor of the each stage. So when the motor will rotate this rod, it will rotate every rotor inside in each stage. That is the basically inside of an ESP. We will cover more about electrical submersible pump in later modules. So for today, thank you.